What's going on, everyone? What a game, right? I mean, Detroit, give them credit, right? They fought hard, they played hard, they did everything they could to try to lose this game, in which they did. I mean, literally, they did everything in their power, to be up 20 plus, 19 at halftime, and just collapse in the third quarter, but then fight hard in the fourth. Right, Boston did everything in their power to just lose that game too. It's like it was almost like two teams fighting for the number one pick. Right, it's like they're just both trying to out tank each other. Horrible execution both ways down the stretch. But you got to give Detroit something. Like if they play like this, if they fight hard like this, right, they were still pretty bad. Right, but if they at least fight and play as hard as they did against the Celtics on the road, I expect them to win a game soon. But man, did the Celtics almost collapse? Did they almost blow this game? And to me, I mean, this was embarrassing in the sense of Boston. Now, look, I talk about this all the time. Any team on any given night can beat anybody. It's the NBA, right? But it's not so much that Boston, what I mean by embarrassment, it's not that they almost lost to the Detroit Pistons and the Pistons put up a fight. That I don't care, right? Because Boston, again, any team on any given night, I don't care how bad Detroit is. There's still NBA teams with NBA players that could get hot and just win a game. That's not what this was. The reason to me this was embarrassing for the Celtics is they just played worse than Detroit, and Detroit played terrible by like normal NBA standards, right? And Boston it's almost like they wanted to lose this game. It's just the execution and the way that they went about it, right? So let's get into the Celtics here. Problem with the Boston Celtics, right? I believe that they are the most talented team in the league. I believe that they have the best front five in the league. I mean, you can even maybe argue six guys. The Boston Celtics should, by all intents and purposes, be hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of this year. Their starting unit is like the most well-balanced you could have. You have so much versatility, defense switchability. You got so many guys that could take over and have big moments and big stretches. I mean, look at this game with Kristaps Porzingis, right? He just starts taking over, getting hot. Got Derek White have a stretch where he hit like 6 straight points. Right? That's not even counting what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can do. Drew Holiday, he can go off at any moment, right? You have Al Horford, especially in that corner three. The Celtics are a very well-balanced team. Problem is that they can't get out of their own way at times. Right? This is why I don't believe in the Celtics until they prove to me otherwise. Like every year, the last 7 years, they've been arguably the best team. Like every year, they're in the conference finals. Right? And then, or they get the one time to the NBA finals. And it's why I said that they weren't going to beat the Warriors. They just aren't very well disciplined. The shot selection, even with all their offensive weaponry, is just so questionable at times. They love to just shoot themselves out of games. I mean, you have a mismatch almost everywhere on the court every single night. And you just want to jack up 43s a game and live and die by the three. And I understand you have a lot of guys that are capable of knocking down the three ball. But you know the saying, you live by the three, you die by the three. Right? And you even saw in this Piston game, right? There's no doesn't feel like there's any sense of calm with the Celtics, right? Like you look at some of the teams that won championships, right? You look at the Cavs and the Warriors and the Lakers, like with LeBron or with Kobe, right? Or you can even go back to Magic or the Celtics with Bird and, the 2008 Celtics, right? With Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, right? You look at these teams and even when things are kind of going rough and you just feel like, they're going to win this, right? Like you can see the confidence, you can see the calm, you can see that we're just the better team having a bad night, right? But we're going to close this out. We're going to get it done. And you see it every year in the playoffs. They get away from what's working. They start trying to play hero ball at times, and it hasn't changed this year. The coaching is a lot of the same, right? Like the coaching, I think, is the big question. Joe Mazzulla, right? Like, is he a guy that's going to be able to lead the charge for this team? Because his team has the talent, right? But you look at the coaching, you look at the decision making, you look at, there's also the fear of Jason Tatum disappearing at times in the playoffs. Like, how many times have we seen in the playoffs the Celtics, you have Jason Tatum with like 30 through 3 quarters, and then you get in the fourth quarter and it's a tight game and Jason Tatum completely disappears, right? Like, even down the stretch here, right? It's like he had some big shots in the third, you had some early, but down the stretch, it's like he's missing. He had that one shot that was goaltending, right? Okay, great, but that could have easily went either way. He has a game-winning shot. It's just, and look, I'm not saying like, oh, Jason Tatum is terrible or anything like that, but there are those questions of like, is he the guy that can get it done in the moments in which you need him to, right? It's just, the Celtics should win the championship this year, but I look at them and I look at some of these various matchups, right? Like I think that they match up perfectly to Boston or to Milwaukee, right? But if you're in like, let's say a game 7 with like a minute left, I have no faith to say the Celtics win that, because I know what Dame and the calm, cool collectiveness that he has in big moments like that, in a moment to try to send a team home. Giannis has shown his composure at times. He's had his rough moments too, right? But now he's got a guy in Dame. I think he will be more composed just because now he doesn't have to like you look at the Heat game last year, right? And it's like he was like panicking. But I think some of that was just they didn't have any shooting. The last person you want to shoot the ball is him, and he was injured, right? He wasn't even supposed to play that series. So I don't know, or even Miami, right? I look at Miami and it's like minute left, tie game. I just trust Miami to close it down the stretch. Jimmy Butler, he's going to look at it as like, oh, this is barbecue chicken. This is easy. This is cake. Like, stop. This is money. This is easy, baby. Right? Like, and those are my issues with the Boston Celtics. Right? I don't believe that. I mean, if they run through the East, then great. Right? They win in 5 or 6 or whatever, great. But I can see this team, if they are pushed to the limit, just crumbling. And that's a problem. I mean, this Detroit game should have never even been this way. You're at home, you're 14-0 going into this game. You got a team that, I understand Detroit is desperate. I understand that they're trying to do it, but they also did everything in their power to blow this game and hand it to you. And you were like, nah, we don't want it. Here you go. You could have it back. Like, you had so many chances to win this game. And Detroit literally did everything they could. I mean, Detroit showed every reason why they are a 2-win team. Right? It's just, I just can't believe in the Celtics when I watch games like this. And usually the games that they lose are games like this. And then once you get to the playoffs, you're going to have tougher competition, right? You're going to have teams that are more composed. You have teams that have been there and done that. To me, I have the concern Celtics get to the conference finals, and then once again, you know how that's going to go. It's just how I feel about it. But let's talk about Detroit. 28 straight losses now. Ties the all-time record for even like multiple years. They already did the record for in one season, but I think it was like the Bobcats or whatever. They had like the record for like 28 straight losses between 2 seasons. Detroit's just, they're not a good basketball team. And they have like talented guys on the roster, but Monty Williams looks like he's never coached a day in his life. Like, he's terrible. And he was actually very good in Phoenix, right? I mean, he was not like top 3 coach in the league good or anything like that, but he wasn't. I mean, he's been bad. I mean, even calling a timeout with like, when they let Boston cut it to 1, when you should have called that like 10 points earlier, right? It's just the decision making, the rotation, like, I don't know. And it's just like some of these players too are like trying to overdo it, right? You have a lead, like, especially there was in that third quarter, right? Detroit was up. I think they were up like 7 still, 5, maybe 5 or 7. And like, Cade Cunningham's just like throwing up miracles and just throwing up shots over his head. And then you have Alec Burke shooting and trying to play like he's Steph Curry, right? Like he had, don't get me wrong, like Alec Burke hit a couple nice threes, but like in that third quarter, he had like 2 or 3 just like step back, like fadeaway threes that were just so difficult, so contested. And it's just like, you're shooting yourself out of the game here, right? Like execute, run some sets, run some plays. You're winning, right? Like that's the difference between a team that has, 27 wins and a team that has 2, right? Like Boston did a better job of executing down the stretch. Guys hit some big shots. Give Derek White and Kristaps Porzingis the MVP, especially Derek White. He hit that huge 3. But like Detroit it's like everyone was trying to be a hero, right? Bogdanovich was the only one that was like really saving them. Anyways, again, Alec Burke hit a couple nice shots. Cunningham coming out, but for the most part, like you just saw like Ivy and Cunningham and Alec Burke all just trying to be the savior this game. And it's like, what, dude, you're in position to win. Don't you just want to win? Or do you want to be the hero? Do you want to be the guy that everyone go, oh, Detroit finally got a win because of this guy or because of that guy? Like, it was just such selfish play to me. And it was like what was working was moving the basketball, sharing the basketball, playing basketball the right way. And Boston went on a run, which you knew they would inevitably do. And Detroit just said, let's stop doing the things that have been successful, especially when Boston had been so bad all game. You're not going to win many games, if any, playing that way, right? Look, Detroit's going to, if they keep playing the way that they played, as I mentioned earlier, if they keep playing the way that they played against Boston, they're going to win a game or 2. But it's crazy for a team that is actively trying to, like, they're not a team that is purposely trying to tank. They're a team that is trying to win, and they just can't. And they look like a high school team out there at times. Like, I don't even want to say G League because I think that's disrespectful to some of the G League teams. And I don't want to say college because it's disrespectful to some of the college teams. Right? Like, it's mind-boggling to me. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What did you think of this game? How do you feel about the Celtics? How do you feel about Detroit? What were your overall thoughts? Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.